Welcome, Aries, to the month of July 2017. I'm Megan of North Star Astrology, and this is a general transits reading. For those of you born with your sun, moon, and rising signs in the sign of Aries. Now, the month starts out with the sun, Mercury, and your ruling planet all in the sign of Cancer in your fourth house of your home, the home. And the moon and both the moon and Jupiter, which went direct back on June 9th, 2017, going direct once again, thank goodness, in Libra. Now on July 2nd, the moon then ends up going into Scorpio, but before that, it opposes Uranus in your first house, so you may want to pay attention to any kind of red flags in relationships if you're going into a relationship too suddenly, or your head and any kind of migraine headaches you might be experiencing. Pay attention to your health, as there's that possibility, as Uranus is the planet of sudden changes and or infatuations. So keep that in mind. But anyway, on July 2nd, the moon moves into Scorpio, and that lightens things up, but it also makes things a little more intense, but that's okay. And then on July 5th, Venus leaves Taurus and enters Gemini into your third house of communications. Then July 6th, the planet Mercury, moves into your fifth house of romance. So you may be thinking about wanting to have a new lover. And then on July 9th, the moon becomes full in Capricorn, and this is where you can really finalize or transform your career. Then on, July 16th, the moon goes into your first house of your physical body and yourself, and you may want to think about finalizing or wrapping things up, bringing things to a closure, perhaps in relationships or with a business partner. Then on July 20th, Mars moves into Leo in your fifth house, again, of romance. And the north node of the moon in Leo has been here as well. So this can be a good area where you can potentially think about where you want to go with your life's purpose and take action with that. Do you want to create? Because the fifth house is also the house of creativity and or some kind of hobby that you've held dear. And then there is on the July 22nd, the sun finally enters or moves out of the sign of Cancer and moves into the constellation of Leo. And then it also goes into your 5th house of romance. And this all really is your big emphasis this month, Aries. Seems to be romance, creativity, and partnerships. Then on July 23rd, there's a new moon also in your 5th house, because when the sun and moon come together or end up making or creating a conjunction, then it's said to be in the same sign, which will be in Leo on the 23rd. And then Mercury finally moves out of Leo and enters your 6th house of work and health. So you'll want to be thinking about taking care of your work deadlines or your health. And then finally the moon creates or comes into the 1st quarter in your 8th house, comes back around, in other words, as it was briefly in Scorpio there, and the moon, as most of you, I don't know if you know, travels around the wheel of life, or the zodiac, every 2.5 days. So the 1st quarter, you might want to start thinking about taking your relationship to the next level, or working on making your relationship more serious. And then Venus finally enters Cancer in your 4th house of the home, and that happens on July 31st. And that right there, Aries, is what's going to be happening in July. So I would say your biggest emphasis this month, of the month of July 2017, is romance and relationships, partnerships, and so on and so forth. So thank you very much for watching. Please feel welcome to like, share, or subscribe, and I hope to see you soon next month. Thank you, and have a happy 4th of July. Woohoo!